It's time for the Ravagers to rise once again to glory!
You are listening to The Ravager Report, a Fox Next Marvel Strike Force podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news, information, and updates. With your hosts, Dorian.
It is a name what strikes fear into the hearts of anyone what hears it!
And Hebrew Hammer.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Hello and welcome to episode 51 of the Ravager Report. I am, as always, your host, Dorian, and with me is the humble Hebrew Hammer. Hebrew, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm feeling humbled.
You feeling humble?
Feeling super humble, just like you said. I am always the adjective that you use to describe me.
So, welcome to the show. We do want to thank you. If you're a first-time listener, this is not how we normally open. I apologize. But we do want to welcome you, and we would like to invite you to come join us as we record live every Friday night, starting somewhere between 10 and 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can do that by joining our Discord at discord.me/Ravager Report. And if you would like to help support the show and keep us going on the air, you can do that at patreon.com/Ravager Report, where we have subscriptions starting at $2 going all the way up to 20. Hebrew, why don't you let everybody know before we get into the big, mega, massive news of the week? Spoiler, there's not that much. What you've been up to this past week?
Not too much. Watched Peaky Blinders on Netflix, the new season that just came out. Very good show, by the way. Check it out. And started working out again because I've mentioned this a couple of times, but since podcasting's bad for you. Because since podcasting, I've gained like 20 pounds, probably just maybe a little under 20 pounds, which is too much. So I just got on a diet and I'm going to go lose those 20 pounds. So that's not fun, but I just spent almost $300 at the grocery store earlier today. So yeah.
That's a ton of money at the grocery store, man.
Is it? No, I don't think so. I think it's like fairly average.
I want to say I
like
feed my entire. Wait, for how long?
A month? For like a
month?
Okay.
I spend more than that a week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I have a family of 5, so
yeah.
I thought that was for like a week. I'm like, man, that's a lot for a single guy for a week. What are you eating?
No, certainly not a week. I get a lot of food and then I freeze it. So, and then I just go back for like fresh fruits and veggies as like the weeks go.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I do that. So I started meal prepping again, which always sucks. And basically, I started the patron show in the gym because I was trying to finish up. So yeah, everything sucks pretty much right now. Just a lot of stuff to do. So doing that. Inside the game, though, just got 50 pyro shards, so that's pretty cool. Was a lot more excited when I was thinking it was a premium orb. I was on such autopilot mode, I didn't even realize I opened a mega orb. So I thought I got something really good. I was like, oh my god, a premium orb finally did something for me. But it didn't. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Outside of that, just excited for the news that we just heard that we'll talk about in a few minutes. So yeah. What about you?
So it's still kind of been, I was recovering, from, the bout of diverticulitis I had last week. And then I had to go to court Tuesday, as you know, for my son. And
you should mention that it's not like,
it's not like my son's not in trouble.
Yeah.
my son was a victim. So we had to go for that. But, let's see. In game, I've really kind of been working on aim. Still, they're really kind of my focus because
me too. Yeah.
I got to do something fun, right? So yeah. I don't know if any of you listening also play like Galaxy of Heroes, but I'm about done with that game, which is really really tough because it's 4 years I've been playing that game every day.
Yeah,
and I told my Alliance guild leader and some friends today, like I'm really debating it, and I'm gonna let you know this weekend. And a good buddy of mine, longtime listeners of the podcast, would, if you go back to the old Strike Force podcast, one of the very first episodes had a good buddy of mine, McMole, who is a big Galaxy of Heroes content creator. He just quit today. And I've seen
that's actually
other...
how I knew him. It was from the original time whenever you and Muggin interviewed him.
Yeah, when he was on as a co-host. Yeah, those were good times, man. He's fun. He's a crack up.
Isn't it weird to think that I was a listener to your show, and then now we are on the same show?
It's actually kind of cool when I think back on it. And I'm going to get a little nostalgic. Sorry, but it's kind of cool to think that Power Core, MOL, you guys all were inspired by us, kind of.
This is really self-indulgent, but you're 100% right. It's undeniable. You're right, but it sounds
bad coming from me. But
I'm such an inspiration.
I know it sounds bad coming from me, but at the same time, it's 100% true. So I'm kind of like, because I remember when we did the round table. Mm-hmm. That it was, that you guys had both mentioned that at the time. So
we did. I still remember the first time I heard it, I was like, "Oh man, so cool! They have a podcast. I want to start a podcast." And it was me and Iris that were listening at the time.
Yeah,
and dude, let's start a podcast. So yeah,
and look at us now, right?
Yeah,
I mean, a year and a half later for me, and almost for you.
I think I 2 months after you, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and then you've branched out and started doing so many other podcasts, and I'm actually getting ready to branch out. Have I told you about my side projects?
Yeah, you sent me the thing, which I haven't done because I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why I need to do it. I should be special.
Well, because it's not. So for those of you listening, I'm starting something called Off Mic with Dorian Blade. And basically, it's creator on creator. It always sounds worse. It sounds worse when I say it out loud.
Creator act.
Where it's basically one of the show titles I had thought of was creator on, creator off, which I actually kind of like because it's just basically.
I still like that one better.
I really kind of like that one better as well. So I'm still waffling. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to call it. It's either going to be Off Mic or creator on, creator off. So it's basically me interviewing other content creators about content creation. Kind of like some of these shows you may see on Netflix, comedians in cars getting coffee, type of thing, or Off Camera with Sam Willis. I think that's his name. But
I like it.
Yeah, so that's kind of actually, and Wolver jumped in. I'm hoping to interview Wolver this weekend. So he may be one of the first ones that I interview, which will be interesting.
Wait, I'm not going to be the first one?
Well, I mean.
Or am I too obvious of a first pick? That's what it is.
You're really obvious of a first pick. I didn't want to do, MSF content creators first. But,
yeah,
I mean. It's kind of right in my wheelhouse right now.
Captain Murdoch said I'm never going to be invited. He's slow rolling me.
Well, I sent you the form. You haven't filled it out, so.
Why? I shouldn't have to fill out the form.
Well, I mean, have you looked at the form? There are personal questions in there that I don't know yet.
I quickly looked at it and I was like, this is too long. And then I closed it and was like, we can just wing ours.
I'm not going. These aren't. Well, they're kind of wingy, but I'm kind of looking forward to it though because I'm starting to branch out from MSF and do other things. In fact, I started playing another game last week, shortly after launch, called Dragon Champions, and it's fun. It's a Strike Force Galaxy of Heroes clone, but set in more of a fantasy realm with humans, orcs, goblins. And elves and dragons because it's Dragon Champions. So it's a lot of fun to play, and the early game is very easy to get into. And hey, Hebrew, you want to hear some sorcery?
Let me hear it.
Character unlock $2.
The whole character unlocked for $2.
I got 25 shards, which is basically a star, for like $2.
Very nice.
Actually, one character was like $2 for a 3-star character. And then after I got the 3-star character, I got another offer for another $2 to basically get a brand new star. And I'm like,
right.
So you're telling me for 4 stars I pay $4? I'm all in on this.
Yeah. I will say that is good for sure. But I do wish that we're so off topic right now. But I will say that I do wish that I think the best monetized game that I've ever seen, at least, is for sure League of Legends. And I wish someone would just copy and paste that monetization method, because it's so good at giving you free content and then not allowing you to really get overpowered with anything for money. You just it's just skins and inert things. So I wish that they would do something like that. Hopefully some game does that and then realizes that's the winning thing to do for games, and that's how you keep people there, but we'll see. Yeah.
I'm hoping that it turns. I'm thinking about maybe starting to do some content on it. I recorded a few minutes of video earlier today, and I'm going to do kind of my initial impressions and description of the game and release that out on YouTube maybe this weekend, because my wife and kids are out of town for the next 5 days. So
and when they're away, Dorian will play.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's why we are being joined by Jim and Yun tonight. And then
I found out Yun was a type of alcohol. I had no idea.
Well, it's not Yun. It's actually called Yingling. Yuengling. It's Yingling. It's that, but I didn't want to say we're being joined by Jim and Yingling because that doesn't make much sense. But Yun, Yuen, sounds like a Chinese name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, very, very clever. Very awesome.
Yeah, I tried, because, but then, for meals, I'm really, I bought roast beef and pizza.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, 15 minutes in, let's get into some content, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this week we did do a survey. I know I didn't have one last week, but boy, we had some stuff coming out. So let's jump right in here. And our first topic is going to be the one, the only Ghost Rider. So Hebrew, did you see the Ghost Rider image that was posted on Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, obviously now we've seen a lot more, but I did at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually, I guess there was a link that on mobile, if you click the link and then went to the mobile Facebook, it was basically a black picture and you had to scroll down to get to the actual image of Ghost Rider. It was kind of cool because as you scroll down, you got more and more of the flames from the back wheel of his bike. But so, 122 respondents, out of 150 had seen that. So, 28 had not. The next question was, are you excited by the proposition that Ghost Rider could be coming to the game? Will be coming to the game. Now we know for a fact, but at the time it was still speculation.
Yeah. I mean, I was super excited. I was really, really pumped. I'm slightly less pumped now, but I was really excited.
Well, there were, so the options here were Ermagerd, finally. I'm excited, neither excited or not excited. I'm not excited. And who thought we wanted Ghost Rider? Hebrew, you've already looked at these. A big portion of our respondents, 90 people, were like, nah, I'm excited. 32 were like, Ermagerd, finally. 16 said, neither excited nor excited. 7 were not excited. 5 said, who thought we wanted Ghost Rider? What about you? Are you excited Ghost Rider's coming?
I was probably on the Ermagerd level. Yeah.
Ermagerd.
There we go. But yeah, I was probably on that level at the time.
Yeah, I think I still am. I mean, his kit doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't at all. But there's one thing that I wish that they did that they didn't end up doing, which we'll talk about later on.
Okay. So Hebrew, what game mode or modes do you think Ghost Rider will work best in?
I was figuring that it was going to be something like Blitz. Like, that's going to be... It's so silly to say that. We had this conversation in our patron chat earlier, but it's so silly to say, like, oh, they're going to be good in Blitz because everyone has a spot in Blitz, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, like, that's where you're going to see him the most, or just in a spot in War, but nothing special in War.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen it, Fox Next did put out a video called Strike Time, hosted by the community manager Cerebro, and they had a dev on, and I feel sorry for the dev. He looked really uncomfortable, but
I didn't think he looked that uncomfortable.
For me, I guess as an interviewer, he kind of seemed uncomfortable, and I noticed these little things, but. One of the things that really stood out to me was like, oh yeah, they're going to be, like the whole Supernatural team, they're going to really shine in Arena. I mean, they're not going to be able to do anything against Ultron and Phoenix teams, but they're going to shine in Arena. And I'm like, then they're really not going to shine in Arena, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was saying, exactly. Yeah, he said, yeah, they won't be able to do anything against like the meta heavy teams or anything, but they'll really shine in Arena. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do anything at all.
Kind of. Yeah. Have you seen that? You seen the GIF of the Carrie Yules doing the double take?
No.
Oh, hold on a second. I'll post this in the.
Oh God. I mean, yes, I definitely have. Well, it keeps you from searching things on the internet.
I don't have to search anything on the internet. I know how to find it immediately.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You did find it very quickly. There's a lot of times whenever I say no to something, and then you take off for like 5 minutes to go find something. So, good job. This one was quick, and yeah, I've seen that one before.
Okay. So, yeah, I think they're probably going to be a Blitz. He's going to be more of a Blitz character. Maybe find some use in War. His kit looks good. We'll have to see what. Because they said they're going to change how, or at least change the tags to, 3 other characters and add Elsa Bloodstone. We'll have to see what her kit looks like. So,
yeah,
before making a final determination, but it seems like if they're going to be good in Arena, then War seems like a good viability, as well as Blitz.
Yeah, they did also mention the raids. I'm just not. On Ult 7, like, yeah, you could use them right now, but on Ult 7, I just don't think that they're going to stack up. I see why they're saying that. I just don't think that they'll be able to do it.
We don't have enough information about Ult 7 yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more whenever we go to, like, him as a character, but
yeah. So, 78 respondents picked Raid as the number one. Game mode 74 for Blitz, 56 for War, 49 said Arena, and 29 said campaigns. Because did you know that campaigns are still a thing in this game?
Yeah, I honestly straight up forgot about like campaign, like playing campaign as opposed to just farming it. I totally forgot about that until you mentioned it earlier today. I was like, oh yeah, shit, we played that.
Yeah, we actually had a storyline.
Yeah, so long ago. That's funny.
So the next question was, do you like that there will be a new tag, Supernatural, added to the game? Yes, no, or no preference. Hebrew, do you like it?
Yes and no. I like it because, it makes sense, and with that comes more synergies typically, but at the same time, they can use it against us, and you can see, only Supernatural tags in, upcoming modes or raids or something like that, so it pigeonholes people sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm in the like, I see both the value and the issue, so I'm gonna go in the don't care.
I can respect that. I'm kind of on the side of yes, because I think they're adding some utility to characters that, like they said in the video, right, in that Strike Time video, that you don't, excuse me, that don't get a whole lot of play, but maybe now will, So that'll be nice. So I'm kind of happy for that, and that there's going to be some synergy there from the sounds of things. Mm-hmm. So let's see, 91 people said yes, 41 said they just had no preference, and 18 said no. Next, do you think they'll add more supernatural characters or just add the tag to pre-existing? So add more, add to pre-existing, both at some point, or don't care?
Well, we already know that they added it. Like, I don't think they're adding any more tags to pre-existing ones than the ones we already know. But yeah, I think that there's bound to be more coming eventually.
Hopefully. I mean, we know we're getting Elsa. We know we've got a team of 5, and hopefully there will be more at some point. So, 94 said both. 46 said add more. 8 had no preference, and 8 said add to pre-existing. Now let's move in to announcement we got last week. The new Dark Dimension mode. Hebrew, are you excited for this new mode?
Yes, I am, I suppose. I know it's going to be... I'm very happy that it's coming because I know that there's going to be an awesome character at the end of it from the sounds of it. So that's cool to me. But I know that it's going to be very difficult to get there, and I know I will be getting there before a lot of other people. So that part, I'm a little bit meh on, but that's my issue, not the game's issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say yes overall, I guess. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to be creamed everywhere by whatever new character comes before I get him again.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun to have it. We need something that's not continual raids, right? I personally, I'm getting tired of double raids and war constantly, and blitz constantly,
war especially. Yeah.
And and we'll talk about war later with leagues, but man, it's such a slog. And honestly, it makes me want to shut off the game. I struggle to log in anymore simply because it's like, it's a job. It feels like a job.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
But of our respondents, 107 said yes, 20 said no, and 23 had no preference. So they listed the recommendations at level 75 gear tier 14. Do you think it's going to be necessary just to get into the mode?
Probably. I'm going to say yes.
Boy, I hope not. I'm going to say no. I don't think it's going to be necessary, but I do think that it would help, obviously. But 106 agreed with you, said yes. 33 said no, and 11 had no preference or don't care. Here's the big one though. Do you think they'll restrict access to certain characters like Minerva or Ultron, or make it so difficult that those characters won't make a difference? So restrict access, make it nearly impossible, or you have no preference?
I think that they will. Gosh, I don't even know about this one. I think that they'll probably make it nearly impossible for those characters to shine. Maybe not Ultron, because he is like, there's more that you need to do to stop him. But Minerva, there's not as much that you need to do to kind of fight her back. So I think that Minerva specifically will be made really difficult to make as useful as she was on this past one, at least.
Yeah, here's the thing. Unless they rework her kit, that ability, her ult, where she hits everybody for 15% health and then redistributes it to everybody on her own team, unless you find some way around that, she's just going to kind of rock in that mode.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but I mean, if you keep throwing on, you have to, this is, counterable, but, if you are going up against teams with lots of heal blocks, like if you got a Mordo spamming heal block all the time, or something like that, then you could get into some dangerous territory quick, and it would be shutting her off basically. But yeah, I mean, either way, we'll see. I just have a feeling that Minerva seems to be the thing that made, like, once you had her, you went through that mode exponentially quicker.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
I just don't think that they're going to allow that to happen for this upcoming one. I think that they learned from the first one to the next one, and I think that they'll learn from this upcoming one from the last one.
Do you think, between just you and me, nobody's listening,
Mm-hmm.
do you think...
Yeah, sure.
Do you think that they're just going to copy Enter the Darkness and Fear the Darkness and maybe just throw new characters on there?
No, I think there's going to be a little more calculation than that.
You think?
Specifically
I hope.
for reasons like this. I think that they're going to block, like, very meta comps.
Well, so I just want to bring something to your attention. Since Seismic left, we've had no new content.
Well,
and characters are not content.
Right. When did Seismic leave in relation to like Dark Dimension? Like
February of this year. February or March of this year. It was already done. It was in game, right, so but nobody was in there.
Because Dark Dimension, like the first one versus the next one, was it Enter the Darkness versus Fear the Darkness?
Right.
Like, there was definitely a difference there. I felt a difference, at least, certainly when I was going through it. It was so much easier on the first one, even though it was supposed to be very difficult at that time. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I know what you're talking about. I do think that it's been, we've seen a lot of Reddit posts recently about, like, we need new content, not just recycled content, right. Which I agree with. Like, there needs to be something that's, like, actually new and exciting, and in a way that's more innovative and takes up less time, but still fun. So,
yeah,
I agree
I'm worried.
But
I'm worried it's just not going to happen. The Ultima 7 is basically just a rehash of Ultima 6 with new characters or additionally difficult characters. And they're not actually adding anything new.
With Ult 7, I would agree with that. I think they're going to be more calculative with the whatever they call the new Dark Dimension mode. But with Ult 7, I think it's just going to be turn up the difficulty and add more ridiculous characters.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be it, basically.
Yeah. So 116 respondents said make it nearly impossible. 25 said restrict access, and 9 said they just have no preference. And then Hebrew, who do you think is going to be the reward character for that new mode?
I think Dr. Doom. I remember I said that the other day, but yeah, I still think Dr. Doom right now. Because we've seen his character model in game before, and I said then, I'm like, he's gonna be coming soon.
Yeah.
But soon is a relative term in the game, but I knew that at that point that he was gonna be coming to the game, and they were going to have to release him in some kind of big way. Because he's definitely like Thanos level and Ultron level, but obviously Thanos they released like before they had all of these more difficult ways of unlocking people, thank God.
Right.
But which it's kind of sad now because actually they could have done something really interesting to get Thanos. Like if this game had already been going for a while, like there could be some really cool like Infinity Gauntlet mode. I feel like
they could have done so much with Thanos.
Exactly. So it's kind of sad, but I get it.
But yeah, I honestly feel like I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I feel like Thanos is one of the first characters that we really honestly could have two different characters, because the Thanos we have in game right now is pre-Infinity Gauntlet, and then we could have a Thanos. In it? No, he doesn't have the gauntlet. He does not have a gauntlet.
Okay, I've never looked at him that hard to see.
Oh, Thanos was my boy back in the day.
I remember.
Him and Luke Cage.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that you're right. I think that there is definitely a Infinity Gauntlet version then. But we would get into, skins of characters at that point, I feel like. Not skins, but you know what I mean? Like, different iterations of characters at that point, which I'm totally for. But I don't know if Fox Next is ready to do that yet.
Yeah, here's the thing with the
And
Marvel
Thanos'
IP.
day is done for the most part now. Cinema-wise.
Oh, cinema-wise, yeah. Cinema-wise, sure. Game-wise, that dude's still amazing. But here's the thing, right? The Marvel universe is so large. You have so many characters you can draw from. I mean, for example, here's a guy that you could potentially pull into the game at some point that could be an Asgardian, could be cosmic, Beta Ray Bill, right? I mean, just a spitball, somebody that would be amazing to have in the game, that you don't think about constantly when you think Marvel, but I'd like to see them start to expand upon what they currently have. Like, we're bringing in Elsa Bloodstone, and I'm kind of like, what? Who? I like to think that I'm pretty knowledgeable about the Marvel universe, and I had to research her, and I'm like, who?
Well, yeah, and I agree. I think that they dug a little deeper for her because they were looking for a supernatural to fit in, but a supernatural that was a blaster. And I know there's others out there, but I think that it's going to be a long time because you're right. The Marvel universe is so big that they have so many new characters to pull from before they go to different iterations of characters we already have. I have a feeling that they're going, and I'm not saying this is the correct route to go at all, but I am saying I think that that's the route that they have and will continue to ride down.
Yeah.
Is new characters over different iterations of characters.
Yeah, I just there are so many different iterations we could go through. It would be, look, in terms of longevity, this game has years that it could go through. I'm just hoping that if Fox Next does get sold and the new money makers go, let's not be so bad.
Yeah,
I respect making money, but anyway. Let's see. Getting back to the question here, 101 people said Dr. Doom, and I think Dr. Doom has pretty much been confirmed via data mine. 31 said other, 11 said Cyclops, which I would not be disappointed in because he's only been teased for months now.
God knows he's powerful.
6 people said Professor X, and 1 person, our ever faithful troll, said Doc Ock. I think that's wishful thinking.
I hope he's right, just so he can say, I knew it. I knew it. And he can be the only one.
Now we're getting into an area I probably shouldn't be drinking on, because I got to be a little bit careful about what I talk about, but the ISO 8 playtest.
Mm-hmm.
So, Hebrew, were you aware that ISO 8's coming to the game?
Yeah, we have talked about it.
And 139 of our respondents were aware, but 11 said no. And I'm hoping that because we had so many respondents, we had 11 trolls. But, yeah. Hebrew, are you excited for ISO 8s?
I feel like every question's answer has a catch to it. And I hate doing that, but it's really like I have to say it. But I would be excited for ISO 8s if the developers of this game, and I say this in the nicest way I possibly can, but if they had shown competence in balancing things like this before, I would be kind of excited about it, considering they said speed would not be involved. I would be kind of excited about it. But knowing how they've balanced things in this game before, namely Red Stars especially, it concerns me a lot more than excites me. So I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay.
That was a long walk for a short drink of water, but yeah.
Well, when you're in the desert, you got to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna excuse myself from answering any of these questions.
Yeah, that's fair. That's probably good. Yeah.
So I'm not going to answer any of these questions. I'm just going to respond with what the community has said. So The community has said that 112. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say what I think your answer is?
You know what? Be my guest. I will neither confirm nor deny anything you say. And
you are
and
not
I,
excited.
just for anything that for anybody that may be listening, you and I have not discussed ISO 8s at all, have we?
No, we're not. I really don't pry into like anything with the Envoy program in the slightest. Like, I'm very much okay with figuring out stuff from the data mine. So this is not like I've asked him before. I'm guessing because if anything, it might be like passive, like mentions, because I know your personality quite well. I'm going to go ahead and say, no, you are not excited for the ISO 8.
So, the community says that they're not excited. 112 respondents said no. 23 said yes, and 15 said they don't care or have no preference. Hebrew, I know you left Galaxy of Heroes before. Was it slightly before or was it after? But are you familiar with mods from any other games you have played? Or ones that you do play?
They're kind of in there on AFK Arena a little bit. It's not the same, and it doesn't make nearly as much of a degree of difference as it does with Swugga. But I had used them in Swugga, but I just didn't really know the how good or bad they were because I didn't know enough about the game. I was essentially a noob. So, yeah, I didn't know that it was a bad thing. So I thought they were fun at the time, because I didn't know any better.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely, I think that it is very similar to, mods to Swugga, just without the speed. Or, from what we've seen so far, at least I think it's going to be that.
Yeah, and this one I can answer, and I can tell you that I am familiar with mods from other games. 109 of our respondents also are familiar, but 41 are not. Which means we need some mod content. Hebrew, do you think that ISO 8 is going to work like those other systems that you're familiar with?
Minus the speed, yes. I do think it will work like that.
Okay.
But that could be my ignorance right there, so I don't know.
All right. 87 of our respondents agree with you. 38 said no, and 25 said they had no preference. So now we get kind of into kind of the more subjective. But do you think ISO 8 is going to make the game more accessible to new players or less accessible?
I think it 100% has to do with. Yeah, I think it 100% has to do with like the method of getting them. I don't think we know that yet. So until we know that, I don't think that I can definitively say, like any which way.
Well,
I'm going to say either more or less.
I believe they've said they'll be farmable, right?
Yeah, but in what way? Like, are we going to have to divert a lot of resources that we could be using for farming characters in order to do it? Like, that could really siphon out progress in some ways. Is it a random chance? Do we get to pick? I don't know enough of it to say definitively one or the other. So I'm going to say neither more nor less accessible for right now.
Okay. Well, we have a relatively negative community. 103 people said less accessible. Only 10 said more, and 37 said neither more nor less. And then finally, do you think ISO 8s are going to break the game from a mechanic standpoint? Of course they will. Not enough information to guess. No, they'll add more variety, or don't care / no preference.
StarTech wasn't bad, but because we have red stars, it amplified it to quite a bit. I think that this has a higher potential to break the game a lot more now, and I don't have faith for them to balance it accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and say I think, of course, they will break the game.
Okay. Believe it or not, a majority of our respondents said there's not enough information yet to make a guess. But that was only 79 people, which was like 52.7%. 61 people did say, of course they will, which was roughly 41%. 9 people said no, they won't. They'll add more variety. And one person said they just don't care. So, I'm not sure why that person plays the game, but okay. You like Marvel. That's good. You want to collect your characters.
I will say, I think that is the better answer, or the better headspace to be in. The not enough information to guess. You're a better person than me. I'm making judgments based on past things they've done, which is probably the crappier thing to do. But I've learned to fear the boot, basically. So.
Yeah, I wish I could talk about this, but it's just one of those things I can't. So.
Yeah, I wish I could get just like the do you like it or not out, but I know you can, so that's fine.
Yeah, look, if you want to say it, that's fine. What you think, I think. I can't, I won't either confirm or deny anything that you say.
I know that you're very skeptical about new systems whenever they come out for the same reasons as I am in this game anyways. So I'm going to go ahead, and I haven't heard any, I don't know if I can say this or not, but I haven't heard any, particular, big excitement whenever you talk about the game recently, whenever it comes to, new things. So that makes me think, and I could be picking up on absolutely nothing, and I could be wrong, but that makes me think you are not excited about this new mode. That's all I have to go off.
Which is fair. I mean, look, anybody that doesn't know us, I keep the Envoy stuff, or at least I try to keep it separate from Hebrew. I don't talk to anybody about any Envoy things because, we're done with the survey now. There's been quite a few leaks from the playtest server over the past week and a half, and I think it's really bad, to be honest with you, because if I sign a contract with somebody, I'm going to fulfill the terms of that contract. I have principles, and I'm going to abide by the letter of what I signed, because I read it. And if I don't understand it, I would send it to a lawyer, but thankfully it's pretty cut and dry. And those people that are leaking the information, I just got to say shame on you. Shame on you for knowingly violating something that you agreed to. You've got no principles, and you disgust me. So,
make sure you put your soapbox in a safe place whenever you're done with it.
I mean, come on, have some integrity, have some personal integrity. Jeez. Anyway,
I don't really know what you're referring to, but I know you well enough that this is typical you. So yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Well, this is typical me with my inhibitions kind of cut a little bit, shall we say?
Yeah.
So, my thoughts and feelings may flow a little bit more freely. So. That's all I'm going to say there. But I will remind everybody that, our call lines are open. If there's anything you want to discuss, just ping me or Hebrew and let us know, because you can appear on our show asking us a question, because we do accept, call-ins. So if there's something that you want to ask live, be our guest. Wow, Hebrew, I'm looking at this, and we have a light show tonight.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
No, I mean, only 10 people are listening live. It feels a little bad.
Oh, really? I think
yeah.
it's just one of those weeks. I mean,
I think it is too.
You're right. This is a very low amount compared to normal, but yeah.
Yeah, it really, really, really is. But, let's move on from some of the negativity. We'll come back to the survey, because that is where we have a lot of our grab bag questions. But Hebrew, we did get some news this week, and a lot of that came today in the form of our dev blog. Let's see. Let's talk about what to talk about first. How about the highway to Helloween? Let's talk about that.
That's a good idea.
The Highway to Helloween is scare up Ghost Rider shards and other rewards during the limited time Highway to Helloween event. Bob for character shards with a 13-day calendar that contains characters with the limited time Trick or Treat trait. Carve open the Jack-o'-lantern orb, which contains select characters and features Ghost Rider at a higher drop rate. Battle in Highway to Helloween Blitz with Trick or Treat trait characters. 2 score points for the Monster Mash milestone, which will reward Jack-o'-lantern orb fragments. And be on the lookout for Halloween bonus events, including reduced cost Blitz cooldowns, 2 times Trick or Treat character shards, and increased gold rewards. Don't miss the party. It'll be a Graveyard Hulk smash.
So many puns and Halloween names there. I just
so
get
many.
like
I don't know how I read that out loud.
Like basically after that, I only because I've read it like 20 times do I actually understand what's coming from what. But yeah, otherwise, the first time I read it, it was a barrage of just puns and theme names.
Oh yeah. Now imagine doing that while slightly
intoxicated.
Yeah. I didn't want to use those words exactly, but okay, sure.
They're not wrong.
Oh man, you got me while I was taking a drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to digest here. So I'm hoping there will be other ways to get Ghost Rider shards, but honestly, I'm not too hopeful about this because I mean we still have no reliable way to get Colossus or Psylocke. That's just bad.
You're not wrong about that.
That's just horrible. But during this event, looks like we're going to have this Jack-o'-lantern orb, and it's going to have Ghost Rider at a higher drop rate. So instead of, a 1.1% chance, he'll be a 1.2. Congrats. Okay. I'm going to sidebar. Can I sidebar for a second?
Sidebar.
I'm a little upset because I spent money on Graviton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got him to 5-star, and I got him to like 41 of 200.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that did not buy the offers that are right there with me, that only cored out on the events. Now, I also cored out on the events.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this even fair? I mean, it makes me not want to spend money on this game.
I mean, luck has always, and will always be a huge factor in this. But you're right. I mean, like, if they have an event, there is a bigger degree of luck because you are pulling so much more often that the chances of you getting those big pulls, for some very lucky people are, a lot higher more often. So. Yeah,
I mean, I just feel that it's bad that, somebody that dropped, early on, dropped $50 to get, Graviton unlocked because he was a 100 shard unlocked to start with, and then cored every day on the event. It just makes you feel so bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, I only got like 116 drop, I think, or whatever it was, from those. All the rest of them were like basically sides, like just the side ones. So I'm right there with you. I mean, I didn't buy any of the deals, but I cored out really hard. I used up all my cores for him. So
here's my fear, right? So I say that to kind of come back to the Highway to Helloween thing, in that Ghost Rider is going to be an increased drop rate. Well, does anybody in the listening audience think that there will be no offers for Ghost Rider? No. We all know there will be some offers for Ghost Rider at some point.
Yeah.
And if you buy those offers for Ghost Rider, because look, Ghost Rider is an awesome character, right? You're not buying him for what he can do in the game. You're buying him for what you feel about the character.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. If you drop money for Ghost Rider and then I just go, nah, I'm just gonna blitz for the milestones, and I hit the milestones, and I do whatever, and I get really good drops, and basically I nullify your purchase through my luck. How does that make you feel?
I mean, but that's like this game in its entirety. Like,
I know it is, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean that. I suppose it's one of those things where, yeah, that does suck, but that is a fallacy in the foundation of this game.
It's so hard sometimes. I mean, I love the game, right? No, I love the IP. I love the game. I enjoy the game modes. I haven't played it much today, but overall, I mean, you know, it's, I don't know. I just, ugh.
I mean, it's fair to be like, you know, bummed out about that, but yeah, it's just unfortunately that's the name of the game for us unlucky lucky people.
It really is. So it looks like they're going to be alternate. You know, this is going to be the only way to get him. Hopefully, it'll be obtainable by a vast majority. Hopefully there aren't too many in the Jack-o'-lantern orb, but I mean, there are a lot of characters I can think of off the top of my head that would be in there.
Yeah, same. I think it's going to be a fairly big pool of characters.
Nearly every mystic.
Yeah.
There's going to be a blitz cooldown, which, yeah, okay, thanks. And then the 2 times the trick-or-treat character shards, which would be nice if like Strange and Loki are in there. That would be handy. Actually, yeah. I think do I have both those 7-star now? I got Loki 7-star recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and T13, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, my Loki's a BA. But was there anything else you want to talk about Helloween?
No.
All right. Yeah, it's an event. It's going to happen. You're going to get Ghost Rider shards. Good luck. We have a Deadpool and Killmonger Blitz coming. For those of you that are newer to the game and may not have Deadpool or don't have him ranked up very much, this is really nice for you. He's a really, really good character, especially early game. So, you know, and Killmonger being unfarmable. Well, he's raid farmable. Sorry. He's available in the raid store and the raid orbs. Killmonger is nice if you want to build up your Wakandan team. I don't know why, but I just, Wakanda's so bad. Here's the thing. They're not bad.
Yeah.
But they were sold as being the best raid team in the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they might as well just said penultimate and been done with it, but they didn't. But it just, so Hebrew, Ghost Rider, he's coming.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Riding into battle next is Ghost Rider. The Brimstone Biker is a vengeful brawler who stacks bleed on enemies and avenges eliminated allies by attacking the foes who dealt the final blow. Ghost Rider is the newest member of the upcoming Supernatural team, which also includes Mordo, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and their new blaster, Elsa Bloodstone. Fully formed, the Supernatural team will be a high-skill squad capable of terrifying teams in battle. Start recruiting and ranking up this squad because it's sure to be a monster. Rev up your eyes because here are Ghost Rider's abilities. So he will be a hero, city, mystic, brawler, supernatural. His basic is Hellfire, which will attack the primary target for damage and apply bleed for 2 turns. His special is called Hell Cycle and will attack the primary target for damage and apply 2 bleed for 2 turns, and then attack all adjacent enemies for damage and apply 2 bleed. His ultimate is called Penance Stare. It will attack the primary target for piercing and apply offense down, defense down, and if he's charged, this attack gains Drain and then loses 1 charge. His passive is called Spirit of Vengeance. On death, he will grant 2 ability energy to all supernatural allies. And on non-summoned ally death, he will attack the enemy that killed the target for damage and gain +1 charge up to a maximum of 5 and generate 3 ability for himself. When a negative effect is applied to an enemy, he will increase speed bar for self and all supernatural allies. He will gain max health. Supernatural allies will gain max health. He will gain focus, and supernatural allies gain focus. Now, unfortunately, the dev blog does not list any percentages at all, which is dumb. But what do you think of his kit, Hebrew?
I think his kit is really good. I mean, the thing that stands out to me the most is he's got a lot of bleeds, which is great.
Right.
But the thing that means the most to me, which I assume means most to everyone else, is whenever you think about the team that he's going to be with, there is so many debuffs that are going to be applied to your enemies on that team. And this little part of his passive, when a negative effect is applied to an enemy, increase the speed bar of self and all supernatural allies. That can be a really big thing, considering how many debuffs can be applied in one turn. And I imagine, we don't know the percentage that it increases, and I imagine it has to be small, or otherwise you really can get this team excuse me,
is going really like on a continual cycle.
Exactly. Like if you think about, I mean, like you have a character that flips positive buffs to negative buffs. You have another character that can apply AoE, blinds and something else at the same time. Blinds and something. And then, or you can apply an AoE heal block. You have another character that will increase the longevity of these debuffs. And almost everyone's basic does some form of debuff. Like you could really, depending on how much of a speed bar increase we're talking about, you could really keep that team going a lot. So, that's something. The whole, people dying and then you get stuff, I'm not a huge fan of that because it means that you're losing team members to get on non-summoned ally death, attack the enemy that killed the target, blah, 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 and +1 charged up to maximum of 5. So every time whenever my ally dies, then I get a charged. I don't know. I don't like having to lose someone on my team to get a charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's my problem with it. So we know that GR is going to be a brawler, and we know that Elsa's going to be a blaster.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 3 members of that team are Mordo, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch. There is no tank.
Yeah, that was my point last time. I see what they're doing, which I'm sure you do too. They're trying to basically, instead of using a tank, they're going to, and keep in mind, there's still no taunt, so even for Ghost Rider, who's the only one that can suck up some damage on this team, they're trying to go for, just pure raw speed and debuff abilities, right? And then you have the heals, the revives, and the health, whatever you call it, dispersion ability from Scarlet Witch. So you have all of those, and they're trying to substitute that for a tank. And it's an interesting thought. I like that it definitely has a place. I feel like it can very easily be countered by something very powerful. You know what I mean?
I have a team that does that already. It's called AIM.
Yeah, no, that is true. I mean, if you take security out, you're right. That is very, very similar. But this one, I think does that too. I have to see how it plays because I know, Doctor Strange especially is so squishy. And you can tell they try to counteract that a bit with the whole supernatural allies gain max health, and they get extra focus to make sure that, they apply all those debuffs that they do. But yeah, I'm not sure how well it will work out. I'm really excited to see it in play mostly because I think that's going to make or break this team is going to be the percentage of speed bar increase. I think it will come down to that specifically.
I mean, if we go historically, I would imagine like it'll be like 15% of his, they'll gain like 15% max health.
Mm-hmm.
And then for speed bar gain, it'll probably be like a max 15 to 20%.
Yeah, but even then you have to think about what constitutes a negative effect. Like, is it whenever it's applied? Is it whenever it's like every turn? Is it if it's flipped? Does it count? Like, there's some specifics that I would like to be made clear first before I figure out how good this is going to be. Because, like I said, every character has so many things that they can do to, so many stranger things than just applying it, right? There's so many odd methods that they have on that team. So, yeah, I want to see like what ends up happening, because if you really had all of those apply this effect, like this team would be going crazy. Like you wouldn't be able to stop them. So, and I don't think that they're going to allow that. Considering they themselves said that it won't stop meta teams, That makes me think that it's not going to make that much of a difference, or that's going to be very low amount of speed.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. And you raised a really good question there that I just asked of Cerebro, that when Doctor Strange flips buffs, will that trigger his passive?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I need to get more specifics about that.
Yeah, so Brady asked, is it per negative effect or is it just one bonus for all? I imagine it's one bonus for all. And actually,
I think so too, but I would like it. I'd like to get a definitive answer on it.
Hold on a second. I apologize for the typing. I'm typing up a question to Cerebro right now, because another thing I just thought of. Let's say you take one of those characters out and you throw Graviton on there.
Yeah, I was thinking Graviton would actually work really well on this team.
Will Graviton's ability to extend negative effects, does that count? So,
well, yeah, I mean, Scarlet Witch, I think, does that herself. She extends negative effects as well, up to like 2-3 turns, I think.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's what I was talking about. There's just this team, like all the characters on this team, all do like heavy debuff stuff, and a lot of them are applied in strange ways. So with that kind of mechanic, I need an explanation, which I'm sure like it's going to come, like, and we're going to find out. So that's fine. But considering they said that it's not going to be like meta defying, I don't think that it's going to be that much of an increase, or I think that it's only going to apply on when it's first put on the characters and flips won't apply or something like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned. About these interactions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll just have to see when he comes in game.
Yeah.
But I mean, his kit looks really amazing, and I would maybe pull one of those characters out. I mean, we haven't seen what Elsa can do yet, but if you pull one of those out and throw Graviton in there, and like you've got his bleeds on, if he's got massive amount of bleeds, I would hope his damage is relatively high.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a death by 1,000 cuts kind of team, honestly.
I mean, like AIM.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to that.
Yeah, I do too.
But potentially superior, depending on that, what we were just talking about for 20 minutes.
It wasn't 20, but,
It wasn't 20. Gross exaggeration.
I get your point. Yeah, I mean, that really has kind of been, that was it for the dev blog. There wasn't really anything else in here, other than, Marvel Fox Next is starting their own channel called Strike Time, which is available on YouTube. And they link it in game, so if you want it, go there and see where it is. I don't know if they're going to be doing this weekly or not. We'll see. Other games I follow do, which is fine. They can be fun.
Yeah, what did you think? What did you think about it?
I thought it was okay. I think Cerebro. So those of you that don't know Cerebro, he was a content creator back in the day. He was on YouTube and stuff. So this isn't like new territory for him. And I don't think I'm speaking out of school by sharing some of this information. And he's familiar being behind a camera. He's familiar with, recording the video. And I thought some of that was, attempts at levity, and it was good in all honesty. Look, it could have been much worse. It could have been Jovenshire.
Don't even say that name. Yeah, I thought it was actually pretty good. I liked it. Minus the one hand joke. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, there was the hand joke was oof. And I felt like, just watching and reading, the dev did seem uncomfortable. But if he's not used to being on camera or in front of a mic or things of that nature, it can be uncomfortable.
I'm about to say, I don't think that was I didn't notice any real uncomfortability from him, but I just think that he was kind of new to doing this.
Yeah. And maybe that's what I read as uncomfortability was just, man, I've never done this before.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
used to being in front of a camera or,
I'm sure he was probably like, hell yeah, I want to go on there and do this. But then whenever the lights turn on and you're like, oh, yeah, get a little more nervous, I guess. Even starting to do podcasting, that was, I think we probably all experienced that a little bit.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean,
yeah,
it's still a challenge to, at times read, because we record live, and it's a challenge sometimes to read what's going on in the studio audience while doing the podcast and not have it completely interactive, but only have it partially interactive. So,
yeah. Improving stuff takes a lot of work too. From some of the other podcasts I've worked on, especially it's podcasting you really have to think on your feet quick.
Yeah, you really, really do, especially when you're doing multiple things at once like I am, because I'm getting pinged hey man, you asked the wrong question in this wrong channel. My bad. Let me fix that real quick while recording.
Yeah.
So you do have to be agile. There's no question about that. Now, one thing that makes me a little sad is I'm looking at this image that they used for the header for the dev blog, and it looks really, really cool, but it's missing Mordo and Doctor Strange. Makes me a little sad.
Oh, I don't know why this just popped in my head now, but I never mentioned the thing that kind of made me slightly less excited that I was really looking forward to about Ghost Rider.
Okay.
So originally they had mentioned that his penance stare, it might have been official or unofficial, through data mine. I don't remember which one, but originally it was going to apply more damage to evil enemies, to evil characters, which makes thematic sense.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to that, but they ended up not doing that. It might have ended up being too OP with the ability and how much damage it does or something. But yeah, that would have been really cool. Imagine if you were in a situation in the upcoming raids, let's say they have Ultron, right? It's very common to have Ultron against you. Imagine having that charged up and ready to go, and then using it on Ultron first turn. That would be good. That's all I'd be doing. So maybe they thought it was a little too OP to put in. But either way, I think thematically that loses a little something for me.
Yeah, actually, I'm providing that feedback right now to FN, because that is fantastic feedback.
Yeah.
Let's see. GR should do extra damage to villains with his penance stare, if for nothing else than thematic. And thematic purposes. Alright, there we go. Alright. Anyway. Let's see. Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to find out what Reddit's been talking about?
Sure.
So everybody put on your hard caps, light up your lamps, get your canaries. We are going into the salt mine that is Reddit. Friend of the podcast, Evan, sent me this link today and said, "Hey, this might be a good topic of discussion." Somebody had created a post on Reddit saying, after 1.5 seasons, 3 weeks of Alliance War, not a single alliance will have advanced to Gold 3. Do you realize that? No alliance will have advanced to Gold 3. No Pants of Hulk, no Cabal.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to Gold 3. So... Yeah. I'm not going to read the entire post. It's relatively long. I'm going to share the link in our studio audience, for those of you that may wish to take a look at it. It's kind of crazy. So, here's a quick blurb, right? The top alliance I was able to find is Pants of Hawks with 828 trophies, earning plus 16 points for a win. That means this group, which certainly belongs in Diamond League, at this rate of roughly 96, so 90, 80, 78 as they progress, assuming they go undefeated, trophies per season, will take at least 16 seasons to advance to the rank they belong. That's 4 months of not being rewarded appropriately for extreme effort in war. That's kind of depressing.
Depressing, yes. Does it surprise me? No. And I'm not being... I don't mean to be like super negative, like fuck's next. No, I'm not saying that. It's more of like, we've seen the things that they've done before, and like, I don't know, like thinking ahead just isn't their thing. No offense, but like, it's just kind of the way it is. If you look at everything that they've done, like thinking ahead is never their strong suit, and seeing, the fault and how particular things will be implemented, like down the road, like they don't really get that. So this,
they guess a lot. And
they guess with really poor math, I guess.
I'm not. I'm going to kind of self-plug a little bit, but if you go back and listen to the Jason Bender interview, he even talked. When we were talking about the economy, he was like, "Yeah, we just kind of guess at it and then adjust based off of what people say." That. Right, and I know I've brought that up a few times since then, but that is, out of that entire interview, is the one thing that sticks in my craw.
Yeah,
and it's just, this is more of that, man, we just kind of gotta guess, and we'll adjust as we go, and it shows a lack of foresight, and it shows a lack of planning.
Yeah, and I always just find it funny that, because those things are fairly quickly discovered, but it's discovered by users who put in more effort than it seems like the devs did in the first place. Unless they knew about it and they just purposely wanted it like that for some reason. But, yeah, it's just funny how that, like, users do more work, like the people that play this game do far more work on this game, I feel like, than their own developing team does. I feel like that all the time, but that's just how it is.
Well, so it's funny you should say that. Have you seen this post?
Yeah,
have you read the responses to this post or anything?
No, I haven't read the responses, but whenever you linked it, I took a quick look at it, and it's in depth.
Yeah, the very first response was, "You've put more effort into this post than I do in most wars." To which the first reply was, "To be fair, there's more effort here than there was put into leagues in general."
Yeah.
I just upvoted both of those.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody upvote both of those because I mean, look, the rewards we get for leagues now is very nice. I'm not knocking that. It feels good, but I don't think it was really well thought out. I keep coming back to this whole reference to. Have you ever seen the movie Meet the Robinsons?
No.
Hebrew, you honestly are.
Okay, to be fair, when did that movie come out?
It's been a while.
Yeah, I feel like that's old.
I mean, it's an older movie, but it's really, really good. Like what? 07? 07. So what? 12 years.
Oh, it came out. Wait, what is? It's an animated.
You were
movie?
a kid. How could you not have seen this?
Wait. This is an animated movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I never saw this. Isn't Meet the Robinsons like a TV show, or like an old TV show or something?
You're thinking Swiss Family Robinson, which was a book.
I don't know
originally, and then like there's been multiple adaptations, but you okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of Keeping Up with the Robinsons. I don't know.
No, it's Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen it. I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm going to start a new podcast called Dorian Educates Hebrew. So in the Meet the Robinsons, there's time travel, and the bad guy goes back in time, and he pulls forward a dinosaur, and the dinosaur is trying to get our hero. And the hero's in a corner, and the dinosaur can't get to the hero because he's got a really big head and a really small arms. And he's got this like cap on so we can kind of understand what his thought process is. And it's like, I've got a really big head and really small arms. I don't think this plan was very well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think of every time I see something that whenever Fox Next releases something, I keep going, I don't think this plan was very well thought out.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, first of all, number one, please see Meet the Robinsons. It is a really good movie.
It looks pretty silly, but
it's very enjoyable. I own it. It's very enjoyable. My kids love it. So, it should be right up your alley.
Okay.
Forsaken in chat linked to, I've got a big head and little arms. I don't think this plan was really well thought out. Meme. So, this just, I'm going to quit trying to talk movies with a guy that does a movie podcast because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's on hiatus. I did not have enough time to keep doing that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know, it sucks. It was one of my favorite ones, but I straight up just, whenever school started, I did not have enough time to do all the podcasts I was doing. And that was the newest one at the time, so I was like, all right, we just got to put on hiatus. It'll come back eventually, but now is not the time.
Yeah. So, did you have a response to this about the what do you think about this?
I mean, I don't... Post? Like, I wish that these people that are working just as hard as they will be in, 4 months, would get the rewards that they'd be getting now, because I feel like they deserve it. But, it is what it is until they implement it, or implement changes. If they implement changes, it's not gonna matter. But yeah, I feel like they're getting gypped out. Considering the amount of effort that they're putting in is worthy of those rewards up at the top. So,
yeah, I feel like Fox Next is doing things backwards sometimes.
No, they are.
So, okay, good. I feel justified now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Our next IFCR was ICFR. Am I in the minority when I say, is there too much new content and not enough polishing of old content. So this is a question that I think is really valuable of where is the balance of new content versus rework or polishing old content. Well, let's be very specific. New characters are not new content. Can we agree on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree on that.
Okay. So we have not had any new content since War. We've only had new characters. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay. So I feel like this poster is wrong because there's no new content.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that he's talking about just like new characters, and we obviously differ on like the classification of new characters as content, but just by assuming that like those are characters that he's talking about, basically, they're releasing characters constantly and not polishing other content that we've had. What would your response be to that?
Repeat. Please.
So, assuming that what he
I was
meant
responding
was
to
actually,
somebody on Reddit. I apologize.
No, you're good. Assuming that he meant, they keep working on new characters instead of polishing up the modes that they already have. What would you say about that? Would you agree that they're doing the right thing, or do you think that they should be focusing back on those modes instead of releasing constantly new characters and working on those instead?
So it's kind of a fine balance, right? They're releasing new characters at what I feel is almost an unsustainable rate. We're getting at least we're getting somewhere between 3 to 5 new characters per update. And we get an update a month.
Mm-hmm.
Thereabouts. I mean, so we're getting a character every other week, basically.
Yeah.
And while the Marvel universe is extensive, I feel that there's only so much you can go into that realm before people just start to go, collecting characters is fine, but I've got nothing to do with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's collecting a whole bunch of characters and trying to fit them all in the same puzzle, basically. It becomes very overcrowded and nonsensical, it seems like. But I definitely think that they need to slow down. I mean, I think it's sustainable for a good amount of time just because they do have so much to pull from, especially if they go into different iterations of characters that they already have. But I don't think that that's the right thing to do. I would much rather than polish up modes that they already have. But on the flip side of that, I don't necessarily think that they want to change anything about the modes that they have. Like, so it isn't like we'll focus on that later. I think it's a genuine, they don't really think that anything's wrong with it. Because if you look at it, and we've mentioned this before, but if you look at it, this is great for them. The modes that they have right now are fantastic for them from a business perspective. Not great for us from a player perspective, but it's perfect for them. They keep us on this game constantly. They know that we treat this game like a job, basically. And
but we have
that's great.
to.
Exactly, and that's my point. They know that, they exploit that, and they expect that. So, and that's just the business of mobile gaming now. So I'm not holding it against them specifically and not anyone else. But that's just, how this works. So I don't think that they really want to polish old modes, really, because there's not too much else to change. I suppose the adding the leagues could be considered polishing, but I think that the tuning that they will ever do to those modes are fairly small, and I don't think that they would particularly come out faster than if they stopped working on characters. Now, I would argue that we do need... Sorry, this is an incredibly long thing that I'm talking about, but I do think that instead they should be putting their focus on new modes, new good modes, like actual new content, not new characters, not repolishing old modes. They need to work on better things to do that don't take up a crazy amount of time, that's still fun.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's no fun.
Yeah, we got a lot of recycled content, that's for sure.
You know, we're running 2 raids at the same time, and it's just recycled raids. So it's Ultimate 6 every day, and then it's Alpha, Beta, Gamma every day, and then it's War every other day, and it's just
Blitz and Arena, which are basically
Blitz and Arena, and which
similar things.
Today, so man, there is that. But yeah, we need something, and look, we do know that there is some stuff coming. I know we've seen the Ultimate 7, but I would still call Ultimate 7 new content. You know, once it's back permanent and it's basically the characters are locked in, you know, that would be new content. And then we're getting the new Dark Dimension mode. But other than that, we're not getting anything. You know, unless you want to count, you know, we're going to, at some point, going to get ISO 8, and there's going to have to be some way to collect that material.
Yeah, and that'll be cool for, like, character customization stuff, but, you know, like, in its own way, like I said, I don't trust them to balance it, so that makes me less excited about it, but, like, I'm looking for something that is just different. Like, I want a mode to play my characters that is just different than what we have. We have Blitz, which essentially works the same as Arena, as far as, like, just, you know, straight up 5v5, and then you go to another 5v5, like, you know, that's what it is. A War is a different type of mode, but, you know, it's very, very repetitive. And then all the raids are essentially recycled versions of themselves, just, you know, slight differences. So I would say, this might just be neat, but I would say basically we have 3 different modes. So, I want something else. I want something new, something cool that we haven't done before that shakes it up a little bit. I don't know what it is, but I'm also not being paid to figure out what that is. Someone wants to pay me money, I could probably figure it out. But something like that needs to happen. Maybe I'm asking for too much from a mobile game. I don't know. But that's just my opinion on it. We should probably move on.
Yeah.
At least I've spoken a lot. So
I would agree with you. So let's move into I don't think there's any other big news of the week or anything worth talking about. I mean, by the time this has been released in general public, the Super Saturday sale will have passed. I hope you got good stuff out of that if you wanted to. Other than that, there's nothing that comes to mind. Anything you can think of?
Nah, I think it's grab bag time.
Yeah, I agree. So grab bag time. Let's see. Hebrew, why do you think Cyclops has been delayed so much?
Because they have so many new characters that are supposed to come out, and they already kind of bypassed the X-Men time, so we have to wait for the next X-Men time to come back around. So yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, that's sad, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's a good Graviton team that doesn't include Phoenix or Ultron for both Arena and Raids?
AIM.
Yeah, pretty much an entire AIM team. Okay.
Potentially this team too that's coming.
So potentially this team, which would be nice.
Yeah.
I've done some checking with Graviton in Arena without Phoenix and Ultron. The best team I have found so far has been Magneto, Pyro, Ant-Man, Graviton, and add your favorite flavor. And that it doesn't work super well against Phoenix Ultron defenses, but Graviton's got some really good utility. I keep thinking that there is a very solid chance for him, and with Ghost Rider coming out, man, we could see something here. We could see a combination where he could replace somebody and apply those negative debuffs that Graviton's going to extend and will wind up wiping out people.
Yeah, I honestly think that because the thing is that they have a lot of synergy with supernatural characters, or at least Ghost Rider does specifically. Like he makes that team. But I think the weak link there, because everyone else in there is going to be like the only way that you stay alive, basically, because everyone else has all of the debuffs to keep your speed up and the heal distributions and the revives and everything like that. You need all that stuff. The only one I think that you could take out, at least right now, or would be the best bet as of right now to take out, would probably be, was it Elisa Bloodstone, whatever her name is?
Well, and that's only because we don't know her kid.
Right, but I have a feeling that she's just going to be like the pure damage of the bunch. Like,
right.
And so you could take her out and put him in. Your damage will be lower, but I think that you can definitely screw someone up, like, and annoy the hell out of them and not be able to make them move with Graviton on that team. So, because there's just going to be so many negative buffs on or negative effects on the enemy team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be interesting. And then yeah, AIM is a solid pick. Other than that, like, I don't think you want to put them anywhere else. Like, it needs to be like, with Phoenix or an Ultron or an AIM. Like, I don't know where else I would really put them, because they should go on one of those.
Yeah, I would agree. Hebrew, what other podcasts do you listen to?
I mean, I listen to I listen to like D&D stuff for the most part. So I actually listen to this group called Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yes,
it's really good.
AI.
Yeah, I listen to NADPOD, which is really good, and I also listen to and this really is like, this probably sounds pretentious as fuck, but there's a reason. I listen to my own D&D podcast, League of Extraordinary Dice Men, because I edit it, but I don't put the music in. That's done by our DM, Spider. So he puts in the music afterwards, and then I listen to it back with the music, because that totally changes everything. So I listen to that too. That sounds really douchey, but there is a reason.
Yeah. For me, what podcasts I listen to? So I listen to Star Wars Theory, which, if you're on YouTube at all, you should know Star Wars Theory if you're into Star Wars at all. He does a good one. I do enjoy the Shattered Order podcast, which I had originally kind of emulated the Strike Force Damage Control podcast afterwards, or after. And then I listen to a lot of political podcasts. So I do like my Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, and Andrew Klavan. They're my favorite of the bunch. So
fair enough.
Let's see. Can you get someone on the show to explain exactly how the mods won't ruin the game? All signs point to the coming of the end. I will be able to talk about mods in more in depth at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't yet. Hebrew, what's the weirdest food you've ever eaten?
Escamoles was definitely the weirdest. It's like ant larva.
Ooh.
Yeah,
interesting.
That was the weirdest. Second weirdest was probably, because this one's also interesting. First of all, that's a Mexican delicacy. So it was better than I thought, but I couldn't get over the mental jump of I'm eating ant eggs. So there was that. And then for salt for tequila there, they have, and this is also kind of like a special thing, but it's like ground up, it's like salt made from ground up crickets and something else. like another bug that's ground up, and you use that as salt for your tequila shots. Also tried that. It was actually pretty good, but still weird to eat. I'm not into the whole bug eating thing yet, but apparently it's very nutritious. But you guys know I hate bugs, so.
For me, I would have to say the weirdest food I've ever had. I had black bear once.
Yeah, black bear.
Yeah. Company I used to work for had it was a distributor for steel power outdoor equipment. And so we had a lot of hunters,
Mm-hmm.
I guess would be the best way of putting it. So, yeah, black bear, that's really the weirdest thing I can think of.
That's a pretty weird one.
Yeah. I wanted to say calamari, but I feel like calamari is
not weird.
is not that weird. So,
I would say like eel's a more acceptable answer than that. Or squid ink. I've had squid ink. That's not, once again, it's a Mexican thing. That's not very good. I don't like it, but they love it over there. It's crazy. Could you eat squid ink?
I don't think I've ever had squid ink.
Would you be willing to eat it? Because I was actually less willing to eat that than everything else that I mentioned.
I'd probably give it a shot.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on, I need to get back there real quick. Hebrew, how long do you think MSF will continue until it shuts down or is no longer supported updated?
I like to, joke around about it, its days being just, around the corner for being done, but, I think it'll be like at least a couple of years, honestly. Like I see it, Swugga's been around for how long now? I see it, following a similar route to Swugga.
A little over 4 years.
Yeah. And it's still going, so I would say, probably around the same.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I think the listener said 1.5 to 2 years. Swugga's 4. I think MSF could get there, but they're gonna have to add actual content.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Let's see. Hebrew, who's going to be better at raiding in Alt 7, Wakandans or AIM?
I think Wakandans will... I think, honestly, Wakandans will do very well. And I think that they will do better than AIM, but I'm not... I see Wolver saying no in the comment. But I think that AIM will do better than expected. But I still think Wakanda, you're tiered out. Like, keep in mind it needs to be tiered out. I think that Wakanda will still do better and go further. But there could be some, certainly at least interesting combinations that you can make for a really good raid team. Pure raid AIM team, I'm not sure how far that'll go. But I think it'll go further than some people would think. Just not as far as Wakanda.
Yeah. I think it depends on which AIM team you run. And I think it's going to depend...
And Red Stars, of course.
Well, Red Stars... let's take Red Stars out of it, all right? Any discussion that we have, let's assume no Red Stars.
Yeah.
Or Max, right? No Red Stars or Max Red Stars, all things being equal.
Do you say Mats or Max?
Max.
Okay, yeah.
What I'm saying is all things being equal.
Yeah. I think that Wakanda will perform better in a raid overall.
I honestly don't know about that.
I would love to be proved wrong in that, just because I love hating on Wakanda. So, but I just think objectively it will go further. I think that they're better suited in the defense and healing department, and I think you're going to need a lot of that in the upcoming one.
Yeah, but you get a lot of healing in AIM now.
You do get a lot, but it's not. You don't get as much as you do. You don't get as much utility, and basically, whenever it comes to the healing and defense department, you just don't get as much as you do with Wakanda. Like Shuri is very good at that, and what's his face? The guy. What's his name?
Killmonger?
No, not Killmonger. The I forgot what his name is.
So there's only three, tank, right?
The tank
M'Baku.
guy. You know what I'm talking? Yeah,
M'Baku.
Yeah. M'Baku. Like he's a pretty good tank whenever you combine him with the whole team. So did I not say the name correctly?
Well, you didn't say Shuri correctly.
Oh, whatever.
But that's normal, right?
Yeah. Alt 6 you can do with aim, just responding to
you can.
Or you can definitely do with the Alt 6 with aim.
Yes. Yeah, you can do Alt 6 with aim very easily. I have not tried it on the Ultimus node, but my aim right now is a little over 200.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll kind of do some work in Alt 6.
Yeah, I've only used it with Graviton, so I can't say outside of Graviton if they can or can't, but assuming you have Graviton, at least you can.
Yeah, I mean, Graviton really makes that team. He may be my next T4. His basic may be my next T4, to be honest.
Yeah, I put T4s on that team just because they're so much fun, and I think that they are very good. So.
Yeah. I'm torn between Monstrosity's special and Graviton's basic.
I would put Graviton's basic if I remember correctly. I don't have the game in front of me, so I can't look back. But if I remember correctly,
Monstrosity gets the offense up before he attacks. Once you put that T4 on his special, so
never mind. I think you go with that one instead.
Yeah, I may do that one then Graviton's basic, because Graviton's basic is better than Assaulter's special.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Get back to the questions. Hebrew, how do you feel about getting information about coming releases like Ghost Rider and Elsa Bloodstone from sources outside of the envoys?
Oh, I'm fine with it. I've always liked peeking around the data mines. Like you and I have a fundamental disagreement on data mines, but I personally like it. I do think that not enough people take it with a grain of salt, but I like, the speculation and, seeing what could be down the road. So, I don't mind it. And then, I hear whispers from, other people too. So it's, nothing bad. Keep in mind, these aren't from Dorian. These are the same whispers that everyone else hears from. Mostly from Casino. So I think that I don't have a problem with the whole leak thing too much, as Dorian does, but so I don't have a problem getting my information from there. I don't really mind it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that one.
I understand. I certainly understand your position on it. I'm not saying I don't understand where you're coming from at all.
Well, there's actually a second part of this question directed towards myself. Dorian, in what way would you like to see the Envoy program better utilized? I would like to see a test server that we can actually record stuff on. So, with like maxed out characters. So I can go, hey, look, if I take this and I can do better theory crafting for you guys and say, hey, look, work towards this team because it's dominant when you get to the right levels versus, I just don't know because there's no information out there. I think that's my big thing. I would like to see the Envoy program actually have their own dedicated test server and actually be able to record what's on that test server.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm not sure what that one is. That's interesting. Hebrew, if when Doctor Doom comes, do you think he'll have synergy with Fantastic Four or with villains?
Fantastic Four, I think, because there are a fair amount of times whenever they end up working together. Am I right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I think that they'll have. Yeah, I think that they'll have synergy with him. But I certainly don't see it, out of the ballpark with having it with villains instead either. That makes a lot of sense too.
Right.
I just feel like they're so closely known together that I feel like they're going to have to,
Yeah.
at least some type of synergy, even if it's a small amount. Maybe they'll have both. Who knows?
Yeah, it would have to have a little bit of both. For me.
Yeah, like it.
For me.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it if it. In fact, I think more. Although I don't want to read any more 2-page long passives, but I would almost prefer particular characters to have different synergy depending on what team they're going to be going on. That would actually be more interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What is the best war offense use of Graviton and Scientist Supreme?
For war offense?
Yeah. I'll let you answer first.
Yeah, that's fine. So for me, it is Graviton, Scientist Supreme, a Monstrosity, Security, and I feel like I'm forgetting someone. No, Assault, and then Infector.
Are you? I think you named 6 people.
No, I took out Security.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you. I take Security out because I've got Security on defense with Ultron.
Yeah, exactly.
So that team that you listed is probably the best war offense because they go so well. They punch up and they don't need the defense that Security provides.
I find on offense they don't. But I think on defense, I feel like it does better.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ignore the Netflix restart.
Let's see. Let's jump into, I want to make sure we get some of our patron questions here. Let's see. Immortal Thor asks, ideas for tunes and want your feedback. Moon Knight, since he has MPD, his kit changed randomly based on personality. Hoping Ghost Rider has new debuff called Fear. It's not, unfortunately. Bring in Morbius and have him feed on bleed so he gains health and strength. What do you think about these?
I think they're all pretty cool. I mean, I don't know exactly what Fear would do, but it sounds like something that makes a lot of sense with his kit. But certainly, I don't know the last person, Morbius. Morbius? I don't know who that is.
He's a Spider-Man villain. He's a vampire.
Okay, well, I was about to say, either way, I think that is a really cool mechanic to eat the bleeds for health instead. And now that I know he's a vampire, it makes even more sense. I would say that'd be a really cool thing to see. So yeah, and then the first one that he mentioned was, which one again?
Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, I think that's really cool too. I don't know, like a whole bunch about Moon Knight, but I know that he's psycho and has different personalities. So I think that would actually be pretty cool. Too intricate, and potentially unpredictable depending on how they would work that. I feel like that would be a very complex character.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would have a level of unpredictability, and a level of unpredictability in this game, although interesting, would probably immediately make him unreliable as a character and not picked as often. But if I definitely see that as a super cool interaction with the character, though.
Yeah,
I'm all about thematic stuff.
Yeah, same here. I think that one thing that would be interesting. So, if you notice, I don't know how many of you play like Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
Your local weather affects, like
what's showing in the screen,
what's showing on the screen. Yeah, something like that. Where like if Moon Knight was affected by local conditions or like phases of the moon, in real time, that would be really cool.
It would have to be something that's consistent with everyone, though. Otherwise, you could really abuse the hell out of that.
Possibly.
It would give some people a very unfair advantage, I feel like.
Yeah, I can't remember. I apologize. I can't remember if his moods were affected by phases of the moon or not. I know he's possessed by an Egyptian god. But I can't remember what affects his personality. If it's the phases of the moon, then that would be kind of, universal.
Yeah.
And would affect everybody, pretty much equally on a day-by-day basis. Let's see.
For the most part, yeah.
Avenue Assassin asked, is there a date for the next patch? No. Are all of the 5 characters confirmed? We do know there are 5. I cannot share if I even knew what 5 they would be.
I can mention things here, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah. No comment.
But, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know which 5, but I was just gonna list off the ones that we know are floating around right now, and that is Cyclops, a Beast, Iceman potentially, Hela, 2 more Asgardians that I forgot because there's 3 Asgardians right now that they're looking at, and then Mr. Sinister and Heimdall and Lady
Sif.
I don't even know. Lady Sif. Okay, Sif. And yeah, then what was the other one that Mr. Sinister? We just found like the like headshot of the little picture of in a data mine, and I think there was someone else that I'm now forgetting. But anyways, so there's so many of them right now. Strife. So yeah, there's a lot of them right now. I don't know which ones are coming. I would probably put X-Men off. I don't think that one's coming yet. And as Guardians, maybe, because like I just don't see the X-Men cycle coming back around for a little bit. So as Guardians, maybe.
Yeah,
I know I said the opposite of that earlier, but I think that is actually the most logical now. But I don't know. But because we've seen pictures of the other ones now too, so I don't know.
Let's see. Let's move on to Brady here. Is the Envoy program just meaningless now that Fox Next has started doing their own videos on social media, like we saw today with Cerebro? As a member of the Envoy program, I raised this concern with Cerebro when he told us he was doing this. And I've basically been assured that no, that the Envoy program is not going to be meaningless. We'll see. I think time will tell. Can
I say something here?
Sure, absolutely.
I think that, so looking at it from an outside perspective, I think that, so the interior stuff, as in like the testing that I know isn't exclusive to Envoys, but I know Envoys typically get in there as well. But testing for things and stuff like that, I think that that's good, and I think that will continue. But I feel like there's a real conflict of interest because as far as the like promotion of videos and stuff like that, because I remember before, like one of the big things that they were offering up was like promotions of videos and things, and trying to like tie those in a little bit more and giving like a little bit of heads up for stuff that was coming out. I think that those will fade because I think that these things are going to be fairly regular now, and they're going to do it themselves, and they're probably going to give themselves the biggest head start. So,
and which is fine and fair.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong at all. I'm just saying I think that's probably what's going to happen.
So, as an envoy, and as someone who has done release videos, there's some of the lowest viewed content that we get, to be honest. Hey, this new character is coming out. If there are 6 of us that release content in the same day, people just kind of go to their favorite one and stay there. So if your favorite is Chewy, then you typically go to him every time. If your favorite's me, you'll come to me every time. And so that aspect of the Envoy program is kind of bogus and doesn't really provide a whole lot, and is not what any content creator should hang their hat on, because you're not going to get views. You're not going to get what you need out of the release information.
Yeah, I think it's very subjective to who's making the video for the most part, just because, they're like, if you look at Casino, for instance, like, he's been around for a long time, and that's, he does have a big audience, and so he does get a large amount of people whenever he releases his videos.
Right.
I'm not saying that, once again, I'm just stating facts. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I think regardless though, like, it just feels a little. And I'm not in the Envoy program, so I don't care. And I also don't make videos for this game, so I have no skin in this game. But unless he starts making podcasts instead. But I see it as a little odd that was one of the things that they were kind of pushing for originally, and then they're like, I'm just going to make my own stuff, which is fine. He has that prerogative, and I honestly enjoyed the video. So
yeah, I thought it was well done. We'll have to see what happens as it continues.
Yeah.
And so the final question I want to talk about, and we probably should have hit this in the news, and we didn't. My bad. Have you seen some of the cryptic messaging that Fox Next has been putting out recently?
I have not. I'm just learning a little bit about this right now in the comments.
So yeah, they've sent out screenshots of what looks like a kind of off-angle CRT monitor of this Panda Pool fanfic, which is weird.
Does anyone have link? If anyone has links for this, send it in the chat, just because I want to see this.
Go to the official NSF Discord, Twitter, and Facebook, and I think you're going to find everything that you need there.
I have to go to all 3 of those?
Yeah, they're putting it in different places. And I think part of the reason why they're doing that is not Strike Force, but Capital Games, who is the developer for Galaxy of Heroes, did something extremely similar in the past, which kind of hinted towards new releases coming out. So there were puzzles within puzzles. These are puzzles that are being released.
Mm-hmm.
And those puzzles are going to lead us towards future characters or content. But you have to solve the puzzle.
Okay.
All right. And the puzzle could be wording within the picture. It could be something within the image itself, like a misplaced dot, and if you figured out the hex code of that misplaced dot, it'll lead you to like a tiny URL or something. So, it's interesting. It's a distraction. I think it's fun, but I think that the community itself has to kind of get on board with what they're trying to do. And they just, I think the one thing that Fox Next has failed to do is kind of communicate what they're doing.
Yes, unless it's supposed to be like this, I guess. I'm looking at it now. I have no idea what any of this is, but yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, look, from a
Someone
community,
was claiming to have solved it, and said it's Gambit Counting.
how happy would you be?
I would be extremely happy, but I'm fairly positive that's not the situation. I don't remember where I heard this. This could be something. This could not. But if I remember correctly, scheduling wise, he isn't supposed to be out for like, I guess at this point, like probably another 6 months or so. So, take that as you will. But yeah. So I don't expect to see him for that long. If he comes sooner, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. That's for sure.
Yeah. I will tell people that if you want to solve this, I would look at the oddities in the image. Maybe the coloration, maybe some of the weird characters.
It's almost creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I was thinking about this, the thing that kind of struck me was it has to be based on an algorithm to solidify the image, sharpen the image. Because it's obviously taken from like an LCD or a CRT, a screenshot from, or a picture like a camera phone. It's an external picture. Yeah. So, and the way they're angled and curved, it almost looks like a CRT. So something old. I don't know. I think there's a lot here that can be played with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a puzzle. There's a puzzle in here that community needs to look at and solve.
I mean, I think it'll be very interesting to see like what it was whenever it comes out. I think that's really cool. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hebrew, I think that kind of does it for this week. Was there anything that you wanted to hit on that we did not?
No, I think that's pretty much everything.
All right. Well, before we head out, why don't we let everybody know who you farming?
Who am I farming is, I'm just farming a lot of AIM, and then the rest of it, I'm saving up my cores again now for the next time I want to core out on someone. And I'm holding on to all my gear and everything like that, because I really feel like, once again, I'll say it again, the raid team. I feel like there's some raid team that's coming out that's going to be God mode to help us through 7. Yeah. And I'm waiting for it. So.
Yeah, I'm still focusing on AIM, trying to get everybody geared up as high as I can. Still collecting shards, obviously, and getting them as far as I can. AIM is that team that I'm kind of focusing on. But, that we've all known that for nearly a year now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, is there anything you want to say before we head out for the day?
No, that is going to be it for me. Just, I suppose, my standard, thank you to all the patrons. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you everyone who showed up live. We really appreciate it also. We know it's a Friday night and you probably have a lot of better things to do, but we're glad that you joined us anyways. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Hebrew, if any of our listeners want to get more of you, where can they go?
They can go to alternatereality.com and find a couple of different podcasts that I do there. Namely, like my favorite one, at least, I'll say it again, is just League of Extraordinary Dicemen, the D&D podcast. It's the thing I like the most. Born in Politics is really fun too. Myself and Chu both do that. So yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Well, we do want to thank you for listening to the Ravager Report. You can find us on any and all of your favorite podcast apps or by going directly to our Podbean site at ravagerreport.podbean.com. Don't forget to subscribe or leave us a rating or review, as it does help us make us a better show for you. You can find us on Twitter at Ravager Report, at Ravager Repo, and join our Discord channel at discord.me/Ravager Report. If you would like to help support our show, you can do so at patreon.com/Strategy Report. And for just $5 per month, you can get early access to the uncut live show a day or two before it's released. Finally, we do want to send a great big shout out to our listeners and patrons for the continued support. And until next time, keep fighting, true believers.